guys, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday I missed out on Vlogmas day 4 because I was so busy during work. Usually I do my videos during work, not during work hours, during my lunch, and then I edit them later. But yesterday I had a meeting during my lunch, so I was not able to do a video. So today I'm gonna go ahead and try to knock out 2 videos in one day. So this is gonna be Vlogmas day 4 and 5. So this story I'm about to tell you guys, it's kind of similar to my life story. I believe I did a video in the beginning of the year about how my mom, when she was pregnant with me, she had some rashes on her legs that wouldn't go away. So my grandmother ended up taking her to like a temple, and what she remembers is going up to the center of the temple, and then one of the things they made her do was walk backwards. She's not specific about what happened. She doesn't really quite remember the details, but we do know that my grandmother did dab a little bit in witchcraft, so we kind of think that that kind of contributed to a lot of the misfortune that we've had in our family. So when I started reading this story, I kind of felt like it hit a little bit home. So yeah, let's get started. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos, and if you have any similar experiences, don't forget to comment, so that way I can read them, and that way we can, you know, exchange experiences, because I know that I've had a few videos where some people will tell me about some of the experiences that seem similar to mine, and it's really nice to get together with people who have gone through the same things you have and talk about it, you know. But I don't want to make this video too long, so let's go ahead and get started. So this story is called "My Great-Grandmother Opened a Portal to Hell and Cursed All the Women in My Family." This story makes me so nervous telling. I feel like I'm exposing darkness every time I speak about it. My grandmother invited possibly the devil inside her into her home and brought a curse into all the females in our family after her. I have always wondered if this is the reason of all the misfortune in my family, in my life, or why every home I've lived in, something has followed. Let me start from the beginning of the story. All of what I'm about to tell are accounts of my mother and the daughters of my great-grandmother, which are my grandmother, my mom's mom, and her sister, my great-auntie. For as long as my grandmother and aunt could remember, my great-grandma had a crystal ball, a ouija board, and a pendulum. Pendulum? I'm not really sure how to say that word. All on her den table. She was a bruija, witch in Spanish. She would hold seances, and pregnant women would come to her to determine the sex of their babies. Seriously, like, this seems like something my mom went to. Over 100 pregnant women came to her for this service. Out of 100, she was never wrong. They all had what she said they would. She charged $2 for this. The year is 1967. My grandmother was 14 and my great auntie was 13. They were wild girls who liked to go out with boys and skip school and come home late after partying. Throughout the years, my great aunt, who was the main target of my great grandmother's mischief, experienced several strange phenomena linked to my great grandmother, from a white veil coming down from the sky and almost suffocating her after my great grandma found out she lost her virginity, to a black coffin appearing on my great-grandmother's porch when my great-grandmother got mad at my aunt for not answering her phone. There's so many other strange things, but those were very odd and unexplainable. However, none of these small accounts would compare to the night where my great-grandmother went from doing a little magic to full-on inviting darkness into our home. One summer night in 1967, my grandmother and my great-aunt came home at 2 a.m., drunk and loudly giggling and stumbling into the home. When coming in, my great-grandmother was sitting in her den waiting for them. She was furious, but they laughed and they told her to get back into bed and to get over it. Outraged and feeling like she had no other way of controlling her daughters, she fell to her knees and began praying out loud to the devil himself for him to teach her daughters a lesson and make them behave. They didn't take her seriously, mocking her as they stumbled into the bedroom they shared and began changing into their night dresses and getting into their side-by-side beds. Quickly falling asleep, 3 a.m. approached. About an hour went by. My great aunt began hearing my great-grandmother's brother, who lived with them, coming down the hall, which was odd because his bedroom was on the other side of the house and there was no reason for him to be in the hallway. She knew it was him because he suffered from a stroke and one of his legs dragged behind him. So she heard him coming, a footstep and drag over and over until it was outside our open bedroom door. Laying on her side with her back to the door, she called out in Spanish, "Dio, what's wrong? Do you need something?" No response. As she tries to turn around and sit up, she realizes she can't move. A sense of pure evil filled the pitch black room. Panicking now, she suffered for over 30 minutes, paralyzed as she feels someone standing right behind her, fully knowing this wasn't her Dio. It was something malicious. She began to feel her cover slowly pulling off her body, and her nightgown began to be pulled up, stopping at her shoulders. A quick slap to her back and an eminence burning. She jolted to life and is able to move again, bursting into tears as she jumps out of bed. My great aunt, now in hysterics, starts trying to wake my sleeping grandma next to her. She wakes and instantly starts freaking out and uncontrollably crying as well. The whole time this was happening to my great aunt, my grandmother was having a dream that she died and went to hell in her dream, which was only for about an hour. She spent years in hell suffering. They held each other tightly, but my great aunt's back was hurting her so bad. After telling her sister of her experience, she shows her back to my grandma, and her back was a burn, like a lesion in the shape of a goat hoof, with 3 distinct finger-like marks, as if they couldn't be more traumatized by the experience they both had. The mark was all a validation that this was real. Calming down now, my great-grandmother all of a sudden is at their bedroom door, startling them with a loud, menacing laugh. She then spoke the craziest thing. She said, "Oh, my poor girls, did something scare you?" After that day, the house never felt the same. Even if you had all the windows open or all the lights on, it felt dark. Doors would slam, locks would flick back and forth, kitchen drawers would open, and silverware would fly out. Even late at night, the piano would play by itself. The house began to rot and fall apart. It stayed in the family until recently, when my great aunt, who inherited the house after my great grandmother passed, fixed it up and sold it to someone unknowing of all this. My great aunt didn't want the house, much less live in it, knowing what was there and the events that took place. I mean, how can she forget? She has a hoof-shaped scar on her back to this very day. You see, it should have ended with my great aunt and my grandmother. But when she prayed to whatever it was that answered her, she asked for it to teach her daughters a lesson. That means every daughter in our family after her is included. We all had terrible relationships with our mothers, and unexplainable things happened to us, from bad luck to paranormal activity. So, if you move to the center of New Mexico, be careful, because you might be moving into a home with an over 40-year-old curse and a portal. Okay, that's a crazy story. I personally haven't had that crazy of of an experience, but my mom has. That's why I said that I feel like we are cursed a little bit, because we have had paranormal things happen. My mom especially, my mom has had too many paranormal activity stuff, and a lot of ghosts follow her. She always says how she sees people or hears people. So I feel like something similar to this did happen in our family, not to that extent to where they have where she has scars or any of that, but we still experience things like this. For me it's mostly dreams, where things happen in my dreams. But I have had dreams come true. I've had like things in my dreams come true, so I kind of feel like that contributes to it. But anyway, don't forget to like my video, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and look out for another video tonight. I'll see you later. Bye.